Now, तो हम इस क्वेश्चन को कैसे सॉल्व करेंगे? Now, in order to solve this question, the first part is to find the derivative of 1 by cosine of x to show the derivative of secant x equals to this. Because 1 by cosine x is secant x, so that whenever you want to find the derivative of secant x, you will find the derivative 1 by cosine x. And for the derivative of 1 by cosine x, this is the formula. Here, you will use u by v formula to find its derivative. And you know the u by v formula? So v square u prime minus u v prime. And so using this formula, here v is cosine of x. So we write the square of cosine x. And in the numerator, write the cosine of x as it is. And then the derivative of 1. The derivative of 1, you know, 0. And then write negative. Now the derivative of cosine, which is negative sine of x, and into this one is written as, and hence the derivative on simplification it becomes 0, and minus plus sine of x, and divided by, this is the cos x. So cos of x can be written as cosine of x into cosine of, and therefore this sine and cosine, this is sine and cosine, it becomes tangent, the tangent of x. And you know this is 1 by cosine, and 1 by cosine is secant of. Therefore, the derivative of dy by dx becomes secant x into tangent x. I also taught this yesterday. The derivative is usually asked by the examiner how to find the derivative secant of x, but you need not to memorize the formula of secant x. Because whenever this question is given in the upcoming parts, it will be used to find the integration. Okay, so this is the answer of the first part. If any question from here, I can explain that. Otherwise, I'm going to the second part of this question. And this is the second part. You have to prove this is equals to this. And we take the left hand side of this question. What is the left hand side? 1 by secant of x minus the tangent of x. And I want to show it is equal to secant x plus tangent x. For this left hand side, and we multiply and divide it by the secant plus tangent. Secant x minus tangent x, and I'm multiplying it by what? Secant of x plus tangent of x. And you will learn this with practice of trigonometry functions. It is equals to tangent of x, and simply multiplication and division with this fraction, and writing the numerator as it is, because it is multiplying with the 1. And what is the product of this? Secant minus tangent, secant plus tangent. You can use this identity a minus b into a plus b. What is this? It is equals to a square minus b square. Therefore, we can write this as the identity. This is a square minus the b square, the tangent of square. And you also know that secant square of x equal to 1 plus tangent. This is the very, very important identity. And if you take the tangent on this side, the secant of square x minus the tangent of square of x will be equal to 1. So that means this is 1, and hence finally I can write this secant of x plus tangent of x divided by 1. So it is proved. Hence we get the result secant x plus tangent x. It is our answer. It was very simple question. Okay, in this question I'm repeating the first part. First part, you need the derivative 1 by cos x to find this derivative of secant x. In the second part, you have to prove this identity and take the left hand side of this identity and write this, and multiply and divide by the negative of this over here. Then multiply it with the 1, you will get this result. Multiply these two factors, and actually I'm using this formula to get this expression, and you can see the secant square minus tangent square equals to 1. So we get the right hand side. This is your answer. Now come to the third part. Now we want to deduct that this is equals to this. It's also very simple. If you take the square of this on both sides, and we can prove the third part. The third part is you have to deduce that 1 by secant minus the tangent, the whole square. It can be written as secant plus tangent, the whole square. Because of this identity, I can write this. And so on expanding the right hand side, I can get secant square of x plus tangent square of x plus 2 times secant x into the tangent x. I simply open the identity a plus b whole square, as in you know the formula, a square plus b square plus 2ab. Now, but the answer is secant into tangent. Okay, it is here. Then the remaining answer is just in terms of secant. So we need to change this into the secant. And in order to change this into the secant, what you will use the identities. This secant x as it is, isko utha ke yahan likh diya. And then plus, and you know that tangent square is equal to secant square minus 1 and plus 2. Then secant of x into tangent of x. And finally, secant x plus secant x, it becomes 2 secant of x. And minus 1 plus 2 secant of x into the tangent of x. So this is the proof of the third part of the question. It was very simple. If you take the square of this on both sides, then open the square and get these two terms and change this tangent square into secant square minus 1, then simplify and get your final answer. Now the last part of this question, hence find
में आपने जो राइट साइड है उसे सॉल्व किया है ना?
Yeah, I took the square of this because you want to show the square of 1 by secant x minus tangent whole square is equal to this, and I saw this is the expression whose square is taken over here. So I took the square of this identity on both sides, and I just opened the right hand side and keeping the left hand side as it is, because we need to prove this in the form of this. After opening this and simplifying, I get the answer. Kazan, is it okay? Okay, beta.
Yes, sir.
Now come to the last part of this question. We prove this identity. We don't need this solution right now because I need the space. So I'm cancelling this, and also I don't need this. We have already proved this, so I cancelling these. These are the numbers of each part of the question. I think not required now. Now how to come to this part, how to integrate this and verify this is equal to. So actually we are studying the integration of trigonometric functions, that we write 0 to pi by 4 limit and write this 1 by secant minus tangent of x whole square. You want to integrate this. But here, I just from the third part, I can write this integration as 0 to pi by 4. And this is actually 2 secant of square. I taught you in the previous lesson that the integration of trigonometric function is very tricky. There are actually only 4 or 5 the basic formula to integrate the trigonometric functions. If a question is not in the basic form of that formula, then of course you have to use the identities to change your question into the basic formula of integration. Here everything is the basic formula because you know the integration of secant is tangent x. So I'm integrating this and writing here to tangent of x. Okay, minus the integration of 1 is x and plus integration of secant into tangent we just found here. It is actually the derivative of secant x. So its integration will be secant of x because this whole is the derivative. This whole is the derivative of secant x. So its integration is secant x. And write the limits 0 to pi by 4. And you know that how you can find the value of secant because it is 1 by cos. So taking the value of secant at pi by 4 and you know the cosine of pi by 4 is equal to 1 by square root of 2 and the cosine of 0 degrees or radian is always equal to 1. And similarly, the tangent of pi by 4, you know the tangent pi by 4 equals to 1 and secant of pi by 4. You can also find the tangent of 0 and you know the tangent of 0 is always equal to 0. Now I'm putting the limits and checking the answer. First of all, put this pi by 4 here. And this becomes, what is tangent pi by 4? Tangent pi by 4 is actually is 1. So I'm writing this is 1. Minus, this is x, is pi by 4. Plus 2 times secant pi by 4. Because cos pi by 4 is 1 by square root of 2. So I can write 2. This is the reciprocal of this, which is square root of. So I get the answer by putting pi by 4 everywhere. Minus, now I'm putting 0. And you know the tangent at 0 is 0. So I'm writing 0 minus 0 and plus 2 into cosine at 0 is 1. So the secant of at 0 is also 1. This is. Now what is this? I'm writing this and simplifying. This is 2 minus pi by 4 plus 2. This is pi by 4 and plus this is pi by 4 and plus. We have to write here the answer. Actually, it was twice of. I have put pi by 4 here. It become 2 and pi by 2. That was mistakenly written here. So this is not the here 2. Actually, it is 2 under root of 2. This one. Okay. Minus this 2. So this 2 is cancelled with it. So we have here 2 square root of 2 minus pi by 4. But the answer is 1 by 4, pi by 4. If you take the 1 by 4 as common, it will become 8 square root of 2 minus pi. Because when you will multiply this inside, you will get this. So this is your answer, and we proved the question. It was lengthy and very important question. So we get the answer. I'm repeating all the steps of this question. First of all, to find the integration, you have to keep in your mind the previous answers of the previous question parts may be used in the solution of the next part. So I use this answer. It is equals to then the integration of one term by term. Its integration is tangent, its integration is x, its integration is secant. Then we put the limits and getting the answer of tangent pi by 4, secant pi by 4 here. Then putting the 0, it will become 0, it will become 0, it will become 2 into 1. And on simplifying, we get the answer. I think we solved this question successfully without any problem. Okay, beta.
Sir,